Nation of Fitin10, it is day 30 of the challenge. And send me your feedback because it is Sunday today, and you're supposed to send me your feedback on Sundays. www.trainonmain.com/Fitin10 check-in. That's it. Fitin10 check-in, all one word. So you can probably remember www.trainonmain.com, right? trainonmain.com/Fitin10 check-in. That's it. All one word. Yes, I sent you the link in your macro email, and yes, it doesn't work because I did that stupid thing again where I copied and pasted it from Word, and it carries a bunch of it's like metadata behind it. You just copy the link, but for some reason it's not the link. It drives me nuts. Okay, let's get to more of your feedback. What you will send to me today, right? I love baking, this person writes. Name something specific you improve on for the following week. Okay, I love baking, she writes. I want to experiment with baking using recipes that have very little oil and substitute with applesauce, pumpkin seed. That sounds good. Generally, the food part of this is the most challenging and most interesting. It is the most challenging for sure. I enjoy cooking. She didn't write really. It's just I enjoy cooking. And having raised 2 kids, have done a lot of cooking and have a lot of favorite recipes, mostly vegetarian and vegan. Both my kids are vegetarian. I want to cook with some of my recipes and enter them into MyFitnessPal to understand more about what is in them. I think a lot of fat, in brackets, and adjust them to be healthier so that I can use them in the future, but change either serving size or some of the ingredients. Okay, there's no question in this, but interesting feedback. Yeah, this is the thing. It's with vegetarian. Generally speaking, they will be low in protein, and so if you're going to have something of any caloric density, if it's not going to be protein, it's got to be fat and carbs, right? It's going to be fat and carbs, which is fine. You need some of that. So, but yeah, it is a little harder to get that protein. I can't really speak on this whole thing of vegan or vegetarian things being high in fat, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, baking, yeah, it kind of goes along with baking, right? All right, name something specific you need help with. Using weights in the gym, but you are helping me with this, and all good. Yes, you are getting better. To the person who wrote me this, you are definitely improving. I mean, really, everybody's improving. Can't say anybody's not improving. Anything you'd like me to cover in this week's video series? Protein powders. Okay, I did cover this, but maybe I'll talk about it again here. Protein powders. I am not a big meat eater, not my favorite food, and I'm experimenting with ways to get protein through sources other than meat. Challenging. Can you talk about protein powders as you did about protein bars? Yes. Okay, so listen, there are other sources of protein out there, like whole proteins, I should say, complete proteins. Right, things like spirulina and soy and tofu. Well, tofu I guess is just soy. What else? I believe the protein quinoa is complete. And there are others. Certainly, there are others. But also, you've got your dairy, right? So you've got. I'm assuming if you're saying mostly vegetarian, vegan, so I'm assuming you eat eggs and dairy, right? So you've got things like, yogurt and cottage cheese and eggs and stuff like that. So you get a lot of good protein with that. Really good proteins that are very high in branched chain amino acids, essential amino acids, essentially. No pun intended there. But protein powders, okay, if I had to recommend a protein powder, well, recommendations are hard because, really I mean, how do you determine what's best for you, right? What's best for you is not necessarily best for somebody else. But when it comes to quality of protein and a good spectrum of essential amino acids that your body can't make, whey protein is the best. So go with whey, a whey isolate. When you're having things like pea protein, the protein in there is just not as bioavailable, so you will pass more of it. It's just the way it is. Generally, with plant-based foods, you'll pass more plant-based food through your system. And even if it's in a powder form, it's just the way it is, unfortunately. But I would still recommend something if you are going to go with something that's non-whey based. My next choice would maybe be bone. I did recommend this to somebody who has a whole host of allergies. But hemp is another good one as well. Okay, hemp protein. But if you're okay with isolate, go with a whey protein isolate. Okay, again, it's highly bioavailable. It has all the essential amino acids, and I sell a really good one. All right, so if you want to try someone that I have, let me know. The other thing I talked about the other day is looking at the protein purity in a protein powder, unless it's more of a meal substitute. Okay, obviously with a meal substitute, you're going to be getting some carbohydrates and fats, so that's a little bit different. But when it comes to a protein powder, you want to get one that is mainly protein. That is, you look at the weight of the serving size versus the amount of protein in that serving size, and it should be a high purity, right? It should be about 80% or higher. All right, 6.5 minutes here. Cooking with oil. I'm guessing when you fry food and oil, we need to include the oil in our macronutrients. Yes, you do. I've been doing this. Do you have any comments on the pros and cons of different oils? Okay, I talked about this just recently, but I'll just mention it again. And it's good that I mention this again because quite often people ask me the same questions, even when they've heard the video. So, but in a nutshell, with this, when you're cooking, I want you to try to cook with saturated fats. Yes, the fats that are supposed to be bad for you. I don't really believe that they are supposed to be bad for you. Let me not say believe, because that doesn't really mean much. There doesn't seem to be any evidence of this. Okay, so my two recommendations would be, well, there's probably more than two, but off the top of my head, coconut oil and or butter. Cook with those. And you don't need a lot, just use a little bit, okay? Stay away from the polyunsaturated fats. So these are your majorly refined fats, your vegetable oils, your canola oils, your soybean oils, your grapeseed oils, your, what are some other common ones? I don't know, there's others, right? Ones that would be acceptable. Olive oil, I have to look at again. I believe that the smoke point is still pretty high on that, so I think you're going to be okay cooking with an olive oil. It's more monounsaturated fat. Macadamia nut oil is another good one, okay? But if you want the most stable fat, the least likely to be oxidized, go with a saturated fat. Additional comments. I really hope that I have lost some pounds in this next weigh. I'm assuming you want to say weigh in. Bet everybody feels this. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I know what you're saying here. I'm assuming you want to lose fat, right? I'm assuming that's what you want to lose, because weight and fat. So weight is just weight, right? You can lose weight very easily. I can have you lose 10 pounds in a day easily, right? But this doesn't really mean much, So you're really talking about losing body fat, right? Body fat takes time. I mean, listen, if you just want to lose weight, it's very easy. Just, shave your head. You'll probably you'll lose a couple ounces there. Or cut off a limb. I mean, you probably don't want to do this because your limbs are valuable to you, but you would lose a lot of weight. And if you could probably survive without any limbs, but obviously that'd be a bit silly. But you would lose a ton of weight and very fast. So that would be a very effective way of losing weight. But I think really what we're talking about here is fat, right? We're talking about body fat. As you age, your body loses muscle, it loses bone density, and it will accumulate more fat. You will go up higher in body fat percentage. That is, your ratio of non-fat to fat will change for the worst, right? So this is why in this challenge, we focus on fat loss and not weight loss, right? We focus on fat loss. And that is not always something that we can, see or measure per se, right? On the scale, that is. We measure it obviously through a scan. I should say this is not something always that we can see through pounds. That's my point. So I'm assuming you mean losing fat, and of course you already did your weigh-in and you did lose a substantial amount of fat. And I'm already 10 minutes over. So I guess I get to the message of the day. And let me do that. Of course, I don't have my message of the day open because Mark is not organized. So give me one sec here. Let me open my spreadsheet. What is our day 30 message of the day? Oh, right. This is the week that you will not quit, right? Of course. Reset, readjust, refocus as many times as you need to. Just don't quit. Reset, readjust, refocus. Just don't quit, right? Reset, readjust, refocus as many times as you need to. Just don't quit. The only way that you will not achieve what you want to achieve is simply by either by quitting, obviously, or not starting. Making excuses. I'm not saying it's easy. I never said it was easy. But you've got to start to, if you want to see change, you've got to start to take a step in the right direction and then keep going, right? Again, as I've always said, you are just a reflection of your recent past, right? So whatever you choose to do, you got to keep doing it. So you can't do this for a little bit and then revert back to something and then expect to keep what you had, right? So just reset, readjust, refocus as many times as you need to. Just don't quit. Keep moving forward. Hopefully you're building good habits where you don't need the motivation, right? Okay, reset, readjust, refocus as many times as you need to. Just don't quit. You will not quit this week or any other week for that matter, right? Positive energy, positive vibes. Believe in yourself, and for the love of God, give some gratitude. I will talk to you all very soon. See you guys.